Hi, I'm Micah, and I'm teaching 3D concepts right now. And I have to admit, I'm a little bit nervous about speaking in front of you all. It's been a while since I've talked about my artwork in front of artists in the art field, I guess. Um, anyway, so this is my first semester back. I was a grad student here I graduated in 2007, so about 13 years ago. And right when I finished grad school, I was a little bit burnt out and tired. And it was right around the same time that I decided to start cosplaying. It was fun to try something creative that didn't have all the psychological weight of presenting a thesis. So I started getting really into cosplay. I went to my first convention in 2007, and it was so much fun. And I started getting more and more elaborate costumes, and this eventually evolved into doing a lot of crazy makeups. So I got really into learning how to do prosthetic makeup, which is something that I've always been interested in since I was a kid. So these are two characters that I made. It's a demon queen on the left and this nightmare ghost on the right that were, again, based on characters that had their own narratives and stuff like that. And that was that work that led to my time on Sci-Fi's Face Off. Um, so if you would like to watch it, it's on sci-fi.com/faceoff. It's a little bit embarrassing for me to watch, but it was a very important thing that happened in my life. And later I went on Game Face where Rick Baker was one of the judges, and he's always been a hero of mine. He did all the makeups for pretty much everything, like American Werewolf in London, Michael Jackson's Thriller, and he was such an important influence, and I got to meet him, so that was so cool. But after Face Off, I realized that maybe the makeup gig wasn't for me professionally. So I went back to making masks, which I've kind of always made on and off. And I just committed to it more full time. So these are some of the characters that I made. I'm always very interested in animals and stuff like that. So the goat mask is one of my favorites, and I've made it quite a few times. And other ones are either characters like this alien demon that I made. And I'm sorry, I should practice more. But the mask making gig eventually led to sculpting masks for a company called Immortal Masks out in California, which is a high quality silicone mask company that makes masks for haunts and movies, music videos, everything. So I'd been bugging them for years to work for them, and they finally hired me when I moved out there. And it was just such a boon for my learning and how to do things. And eventually that also, like I made, I think 30 or 40 masks, no, 30 masks for their catalog. And but while I was doing that, I was also doing these smaller sculptures. I've always been interested in mythology and taxidermy and the art of display. So I don't know how many of you are aware, but like the Milwaukee Public Museum has one of the first museum dioramas that ever existed. It's the Muskrats exhibit that's done by Carl Akeley. And I've always been really fascinated by that aesthetic. So I started to try and incorporate that in my own work. So I was making these sculptures. This is a Kelpie. I'm also very, like I said, interested in mythology. So I was creating these mythological creatures that could exist in the same space taxidermically as everyone else. So this is my Kelpie. Kelpie is a water spirit that drowns people. And it's supposed to look like she was emerging from the water. And this is my Dullahan. A Dullahan is a headless horseman. And again, trying to incorporate that diorama aesthetic, albeit on a smaller scale because I don't have the museum space for it. So this is just, this is Irish folklore. Again, headless horseman, but I was just trying to think of how the head would get around without the horseman. So presenting it as if it was floating, because I always thought that'd be really creepy. And eventually that kind of led my way back to masks. So now I'm making masks again. This is a character, I'm tentatively thinking of it as Baba Yaga, and I just wrapped up the sculpture last week. So she's not finished yet, but she's going to be large scale, obviously, because she is a mask. And I'm looking forward to taking some pictures with her and seeing where that goes. So yeah, so I'm still making masks and still incorporating mythology. And this is my latest effort that's kind of very experimental so far. This is a Dragar, which is a Scandinavian zombie, essentially. And I'm trying to learn how to create digital, like VR costumes and masks. So theoretically, this is still very much in the early stages. This character will be able to be worn with a VR headset, and then you can interact as this mythological creation. So taking this idea of being and taking it further. Thank you very much.